Welcome to the Driveway Beers podcast with Mike and Alex. Thank you for joining us, and we hope you enjoy the show. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share on any platform that you're listening on. All right, welcome back. Another episode. We will be announcing... I know I said we were going to announce the winner of the giveaway this week, but we're going to do that next week. So it's going to be episode... Let's see, this is... last one was 102. This is 103. Episode 104. That's when we're going to announce the big winner. Sorry for the delay, just ran into some issues. One of the things we want to say was I didn't mention the sponsor of the show all that much last time. I think I threw him into the end. So I'm going to mention him right now. Cheers and Spirits.
Yes.
In Arnold, Maryland, in the Arnold Station Plaza. I want to make sure I get him out there right now, and I'll put him in at the end too. Sorry about that last time. Last episode we had Luke from a therapist at Buddhist and You, and he's back with us for this episode as well. Please like, subscribe, comment, and share. Make sure to follow us on the podcast platforms. Make sure to subscribe on YouTube if you're there, even though we have zero video, but we're on a video platform anyway. We're also on Rumble. I'm trying to think. Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Deezer, Pandora, whatever. Wherever you like to listen to us, we're there. We're also on Instagram, Twitter, and the Facebook. All right, got everything cleared out. All the business has been taken care of. So earlier today, I texted Mike a question, because we generally before the shows, I'll kind of reach out and be like, "Hey, which bourbon are we having tonight?" And then I had the question, like upstairs, I've got about, I want to say 5 bourbons or whiskeys for all the grumpuses out there who want to fact check my ass. And like, I feel like I'm starting to like create a little collection upstairs.
That's nice.
With 6, right? Now, some of them I'm buying because I don't like the ones I've already got. And we're actually going to try one tonight that I wasn't a big fan of the first sip I had of this. It's from Basil Hayden. It's the Basil Hayden Toast. It's not the Basil Hayden regular. But I've got 6 bottles sitting upstairs. So I asked Mike, I said, are you a buy one and kill it person? Are you a collector who wants to have a bunch of them at the ready? And you said?
Generally, so if I just buy what I want, which is usually Bullet or Basil Hayden if I have money, I'm a buy one and kill it. However, if I always try to buy something different, so if I buy something different and don't like it, then it ends up just hanging around, and I give it to people, or it'll strike my fancy later. So this Redemption was a buy one to try it, and I liked it, so we're in the process of killing it.
Right. So the Redemption was the one we tried last episode.
Yeah.
And I thought it was really nice.
Yeah. Yeah.
Little bite on the tongue, but it was really nice.
And I drank it neat, which I don't usually drink anything neat, and now it's actually getting me into drinking, so this Basil Hayden Toast, I'm drinking it neat too.
So what do you think of this one, though?
So it's...
So my initial reaction to the Basil Hayden Toast was I didn't like it. And I just had a sip of it again for the first time, and I'm realizing why I didn't like it the first time. To me, this is what a dry bourbon or whiskey tastes like. Like, it feels dry on my tongue. Mm-hmm. Like, whereas the other ones, my tongue stays wet. This one feels like it's like almost evaporating in my mouth.
I can see almost, I don't want to say that cool feeling, but yeah, I guess like if you sprayed like the alcohol sprayed, it evaporates.
Right? Yeah. It's like it's not that like it was in my mouth. I swallowed it, and whereas with most of these whiskeys, I feel like it stays there for a little bit, stays on the tongue, gives you a little bit more flavor. This I feel like it's evaporating as I speak.
So I have the tingle on my tongue, but no taste on my tongue.
Yeah, right. Okay, yeah, that's a good way of putting it.
But it doesn't taste bad when it's there.
It's different.
Yeah.
I haven't had another whiskey that has this feel to it.
But I think regular Basil Hayden's superior to this.
And I haven't tried it yet.
Yeah.
So that's going to be my next step.
So when I was at Cheers and Spirits, where I bought the Redemption, they didn't have any Basil Hayden. They had the Toast, but they were out of regular Basil Hayden. So
Speaking of which,
I ended up.
my wife got the Basil Hayden toast at Cheers and Spirits.
Okay.
She got it for me as a gift.
Yeah.
For Christmas.
Okay.
And / Hanukkah.
Yeah.
Because we celebrate all the holidays. We don't. If
See,
they were,
you're doubling up. I'm trying to eliminate.
Yeah, I'm basically one short of the trifecta. If we had like Islam and Muslims holidays in there, I'd have them all.
So when I tell my kids that Christmas is canceled, I mean it.
Right.
Like, I'm not putting anything up. Like, it's canceled because my life would be easier then.
You know my Christmas lights are still on my bushes.
Mine are on my porch. They're in a box, but they're on my porch.
I have those net lights
Yeah.
still on the bushes. Yeah.
Pretty soon you'll be early.
This is March 1st. We're recording this March 1st, and I still have Christmas lights up. I don't plug them in, to my defense, but they're up there.
If there's smart lights, you could do Valentine's Day and 4th of July.
So I saw. So there's a company that makes.
There you go.
There's like these LED lights. They're like tape, and you just put them up on your house.
Strip lighting.
Mm-hmm.
And you can change the colors, and it does different patterns. So, like, for example, if the Caps were in the playoffs, which they're not going to make the playoffs because the Caps blow right now.
A lot of trades.
Yeah. And they're saying they're not rebuilding. They're not selling. They're selling. They got rid of Orlov. They're selling.
You know we have to talk about something when you're after your thought. Please,
Yeah.
please continue.
Yeah. So I would turn the house red to rock the red for the Caps.
Sure.
When the Ravens were playing, I'd hit it. O's game, orange.
Yeah.
Ravens purple. It's beautiful.
It's a
I
good
can leave them up
setup.
year round, and I'm just super festive. And you can change it. You can make it red, white, blue. So
One of our neighbors does that. They have the lights that like face toward the house.
Yeah.
And they can light up the house whatever color they want. Which, by the way, Super Bowl, you had a neighbor
yes,
that went a little bananas with the green.
I think he ran into foghorn.
You could like when people say you can see it from space, they're exaggerating. I could see it from my house, which is probably like a quarter mile away,
Through trees.
through the trees.
Yeah,
Like it
lit up
was
in green.
bad. And
Like-
and then he was blowing foghorns when the Eagles scored. Like he's a big time Eagles fan.
Yeah,
So what I was going to talk to you about was the bet we have.
yeah, eventually he's gonna get it. Stop. There's no bet. Just pay me now.
He has slowed down. So here's
His
the
dad
do you know,
died.
do you know the bet?
No, but I imagine this to all-time score.
It's
Whether he's going to
all-time
get
goals.
there. Yeah, all-time
All-time
goals.
goals, yes.
Whether he's going to get there or not. He's
Okay.
never going to get all-time score. Please.
All-time goals. He'll get it.
course he will.
No, he's about 100 away, isn't he?
Didn't Yager play till he's
Yager
50?
played forever.
Till he was
He's
70.
still playing in Europe.
Russia or something? Yeah.
But so he took a week off. Personal reasons. I'm sure his dad really died. They're trading away all the players around him. You really think he's gonna
Yes.
score a bunch more goals? Because he still needs 2 seasons after this one, even if he gets like 50.
He's gonna get it. It's going to happen.
All right,
Wayne Gretzky himself said it's not an if, it's a when.
he's got to play though.
He's missed. He's one of the more durable players in the league.
But think
Mostly because he's lazy and just stands to the left faceoff dot and blasts that one-timer.
But think about when Gretzky was with the Kings. That's who he ended with, right? Or did he end with the
No.
Rangers?
He went to the Blues and then the Rangers.
Okay. With the Rangers, he had Messier. With the Kings, he had Luc Robitaille. He had someone there to help. If the Caps keep doing the sell-off, who's he going to have to even pass him the puck?
Backstrom's still there. It doesn't take a genius to pass the puck to Alex Ovechkin to score one-timers.
Like you said, one time.
It does take skill, though. You still got to get the skill to get it there.
Yeah, but a lot of so his goals have their cycling the puck, and he stands there
Yeah.
and just
times it. Yeah.
blasts the one-timer. And I'm telling you, if you haven't gone, go to Kettler and watch them practice, because he will stand there. So in a game, you might see him do it. You might see him do it 5-6 times, right? At practice, he will stand there at the end of practice, and one of the players will just feed him pucks, and he'll blast them one after the other. There's a sign on the glass behind the net where he does it that says, "Don't stand here." And the puck hits when he misses, the puck hits the glass so hard you can feel it in your molars. I mean, it is insane. And to see the quickness of that release, like TV, you look at so I played hockey. So when I watch these guys, I'm like, yeah, I was that good. No, I was nowhere near that good. And you just have to come and see me play to realize that I wasn't. Or anyone of my caliber play, like, yeah, you're nowhere close to that. But on TV, because that's all you see, they all the speed it doesn't, there's no frame of reference. But when you actually go there, especially to a practice where they're doing the same things over and over again, and you see how big and strong and fast these guys are, it blows your mind. Like, the skill is unbelievable. So the practices are free. Check it out. And the players are super nice. The hockey players are down to earth. So, like, they'll talk to you, and if you have kids, they'll be nice to your kids. And,
yeah, you just need the Canadian translator.
Yeah. And you park, or Russian, or
Russian. Right?
It's funny, the people that speak the best English are the Swedes.
Right.
Right. But where you park your car at the rink, you actually park with the players. Like, you park right next to them. So, yeah, check it out. It's a good time. But he's taking the record.
Now that I've seen the fall off in the second half of the season, I can't. Plus, do playoff goals count in the record?
No.
Really?
It's just regular season, yeah.
Okay. Well, that goes out the window then.
So.
How long has he been playing now?
His first season was 05. So.
18 years.
Wow.
Yeah, quick math for those of us.
Yeah, it's good for me.
Yeah. But I'm not a math guy. But I think he can do it. He's going to do it.
I don't know. I like where my money's at right now. All of my $5.
It's a big bet.
It is a big bet.
We're big ballers.
It's building.
The fact that we still have
everyone listening is like, wait, you guys are arguing over $5?
Of course we are. Just like every other person out there would, because you know how. All right, so how the bet came about? We're literally at a tot lot happy hour, which we're not that degenerate. This is what we call it. Although
It actually occurs in the playground.
The sad part is, like, when our kids, like, mention it in school.
That's great.
Like, my kid mentioned it to the teacher, like, on a Friday. She's like, I guess she was like, what are you guys doing? I'm going to Tot Lot Happy Hour. Like, oh, please tell me you didn't say that. Oh, yeah, I did. Why?
And so CPS.
Right. I was like, ooh, that probably wasn't great.
Like an episode of It's Always Sunny or something.
Yeah. So almost every Friday until pool opens. And then it just moves over to the pool. Mm-hmm. And then the pool closes and we move it back to a kid's playground. There's no alcohol there at all, though.
None.
Anyway, just coolers with unmarked cups.
That's right.
So we're there. And there's 5, 6 of us. The ladies are talking about their thing. There's 5 or 6 guys talking about this exact topic. And 2 of us are saying there's no shot. 3 of them are saying yes. And you got the 1 abstaining, I believe. Either that or it's 2-2-1 or 2-3-1. I forgot what it was. Anyway. So it got, voices are getting raised. Things are getting a little heated, a little excited. And so I said, enough. I'll put $5 down on this. Because I always came from, like, if you believe in something so much, it's the old put your money where your mouth is.
Put the skin in the game.
Yeah.
So I was like, screw it. I'll bet $5 on with anybody. So it wasn't like, it was like a combined $5. Like, I bet Mike $5. I bet another guy $5. Like, I think I got 3 $5. I got 15.
So you got $15.
I got
heavy hitter.
More skin in the game. And so that's how the bets occurred. And it happened, I want to say this was 2 seasons ago.
Yeah.
That we talked about this. So this bet is literally going to last 5 or 6 years before we figure out who won.
I think you're losing 15.
Thank you.
I don't see. My whole thing is, it was never a matter of if he was a good player or not. Never. That was never my case.
And the discussion always degenerates. It always ends up Crosby Ovechkin, and
that's different.
To me, that's comparing a F-150 to a Ferrari. Like 2 different types of players. So,
but my thing was, I thought Father Time is eventually going to catch up to Alexander Ovechkin, and they're always like, "Well, he's never been hurt." So why would it all of a sudden start catching my because it's undefeated. Father Time's undefeated. Now there are some guys that play forever. We get it. I got it. But I don't know if he can remain that productive for that long. That's my thing. So let's say he can't do it in 2 more seasons. What if he's got to play a third or a fourth? What if he's got to pull a Yager?
He will play like if he's scoring 3 or 4 goals a season, and he's 15 goals out, he'll play for another 6 years to get it.
Do you think? But the other part is like
someone will sign him to 1-year contracts. Just
vet minimum. You think he's going to take vet minimum?
I think he would.
How long did Lemieux play for?
So Lemieux,
because I think like Gretzky, Lemieux. How long did they play? Like
So-
greats.
Lemieux had the Hodgkins though, so
and he also Lemieux had a really bad back. So there are people that say Mario Lemieux was a better player than Gretzky, and Lemieux was so smooth. He would just be flying down the ice, but not looking like he was expending any effort. He has such a long stride, and just amazing, like an amazing stick handler, like just an awesome player. His career was cut short by, so I think he was probably 15 years, somewhere like that, because I want to say he was drafted in 84, 85, somewhere.
84, 85 was his first year. He played.
And then, he had really productive years.
He had a 3-year gap though.
Yeah.
So he played through 96, 97, then the Hodgkins year. So he didn't play 97, 98, 98, 99, or 99, 2000.
Wow.
He came back 2000, 2001 season. So he missed 3 seasons.
Wow.
Yeah. Then you have to look at
Look
did
if he
ever
can do
play
that.
a complete season. So you're thinking it was originally 80 games.
So going down the list, 73, 79, 63, 77, 76, 59,
Yes.
26,
Yep.
64, 60, 22.
Yeah.
So there was and then he had a 70, a 76, and then the Hodgkins year. 3 years later comes back, 43 games, 24 games, 67 games, 10 and 26. So no, he never played that.
Get a rebound.
Yeah. So, and I'm a Caps fan, so of course you have to hate the Penguins, but
Absolutely.
Mario was
All
awesome
Pittsburgh.
to watch. And, just a great player to watch, but just so smooth. Like the stride was it was crazy to watch him play. It didn't look like he was moving. Like it didn't look like he was putting any effort into moving as fast as he was. You or I would have to move our legs as fast. We look like we're getting electrocuted. But he's just cruising.
Jaromir Jagr, on the other hand, I just pulled up his stats. My God. This dude came in the league 1990.
Mm-hmm.
Played through the 2017-18 season.
Yeah. And I think he played for damn near every team in the league.
That's almost 30 years.
Yeah.
Wow. So apparently, that 2007-2008, I'm going to guess that there was a strike year between 2008 and 2011.
So
Because he missed like 2008 to 2009, 2009, 2010, 2010, 2011. He missed those 3 seasons too.
Yeah.
He did go to the Czech Republic and play for a couple
So
of
the
years.
04-05 season was a complete loss.
So 04-05, you're right. So 03-04 and then 05-06.
Yeah.
04-05 was not a season.
Nobody played. In fact, that would have been Ovechkin's rookie year, except for the lockout. And then there was another one that happened in 2012, I want to say, where they played half a season because of a lockout. And then...
So it looks like the 2012-2013 season.
Yes.
So he's got 45 games. Now, he didn't miss a lot of games. So I'm going to guess you're right on that one. That was probably the half season.
Yeah.
But this dude played a ton of games.
Yeah.
You're talking 80, 70, 81, 80,
And he
48, 82, 63, 77, 81. I mean, 63, 81, 60. I mean, this dude, 60, 65 plus games almost every single season.
He played for the Penguins, Capitals, Rangers, Flyers, Devils, Bruins, Florida Panthers, and I think he played for the Calgary Flames.
The only one you missed, Dallas Stars.
Wow.
What year was that?
That was the only one you missed. 2012 to 2013.
Okay. But he'd sign like 1-year contracts. And he'd go play. Because the dude, he's just obsessed with hockey.
He stuck with Florida from 14 to 17.
Yeah. One of the best Yager stories was when the Czech supermodel tried. She was a model. It was a supermodel, but she tried to bribe him. So she took a picture of him sleeping after they just banged all night, and then tried to bribe him 5,000 Czech whatevers to keep quiet. And he's like, "Yeah, I don't care. Tell whoever you want."
Little did she know that was $7.
Yeah. And then the thing is, her boyfriend was a junior hockey player in the Czech Republic who idolized Yager.
Oh boy!
And then she did that, and it's like,
rough.
It's almost like, remember in Austin Powers when he comes up like to the future, he's like, for $1 million, and everyone just laughs at him because it's like nothing.
That's good.
But yeah, she tries to bribe him. He's like, "Yeah, tell whoever you want. I don't care."
Let's see. I'm just looking at Wayne Gretzky stats. Guy came in the league 79. And played to 99. So he played 20 years.
Uh-huh.
And, I mean, he did not... He didn't take any games off.
He had some injury-prone seasons there. He had
one with the Kings. Or two. I guess he had 2 with the Kings that were injury. But for the rest of those years, 65 plus. That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
Even in year 18, 19, 20. 82, 82, 70.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the typical hockey frame
No, he's
in
a
terms
small
of
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's not like 6'3", 6'2", 6'3".
I can tell you exactly what he is. 6 foot,
Okay.
185.
Yeah, that's not the hockey frame.
Lemieux was 6'3". He was 6'3" and over 200.
Yeah.
Gretzky was that slight of frame guy.
Yeah.
His helmet barely fit. He had that weird, like, I'm looking at the helmet now.
So that
I
was
think it
when,
didn't fit his head.
so that was a Yofa, one of those. That was a ball hockey helmet, and when the league mandated the helmet, a lot of guys wore that because it was like, I got a helmet on.
It's like a hat.
Yeah, really, it was
Cap.
like a plastic hat.
Yeah.
It didn't do anything.
Yeah.
Like, it wasn't certified or anything like that. So
Yeah, how wild is that? Like goalies not wearing...
Do you remember the last player not to wear a helmet?
I should know this.
You should.
Was it Craig McTavish?
Yes, it was.
Boom.
Nice.
It's a Capital at one point.
Rod Langway was a Capital. He was the last Capital not to wear a helmet.
McTavish was a Capital, right?
McTavish played for the Oilers.
No, I got to go
Yeah,
Google
check
shit.
that.
I could have sworn he played for the Capitals at one point. Now the hockey playoffs are coming up. What, another 2 months?
Yeah, the Capitals won't be in it.
No, they will not.
I gotta say, one thing that I can't stand about hockey in the NBA, the playoffs last like almost 3-4 months. It's crazy.
It's
Stop with that nonsense.
Yeah. Well, in both leagues, damn near half the league makes the playoffs.
Yeah.
So,
It's like it really starts around Christmas.
yeah.
The
hockey
season.
doesn't even get good. It's like baseball. It's not even good till after the All-Star break.
Yeah.
So,
Well, it's like both of them play 82 games, NBA, NHL. If half the teams are going to make it, like I just don't see the point of a regular season at that point. Like, especially if you're going to have a 3-month playoff. Like, just get to the playoffs at that point.
Yeah.
Or if you're going to make your regular season 82 games, make it only so that 8 teams make it.
Mm-hmm.
Total, not per conference. Total.
yeah.
And make your regular season worth something.
Yeah, I like MLB's playoffs.
They keep expanding it though.
Yeah.
And they expanded in a weird way. Like they didn't add another 3-game series. They basically did a playing game, a 1-game playing game. Like,
Yeah.
come on, anyone who knows you have a 162 game season, and you're gonna do a 1-game playing game.
Yeah.
Get out of here! Like,
Right.
I don't know who's thinking about this garbage.
And baseball is weird because you'll see a team, they'll come out, let's say the Orioles and the Yankees play a 7-game, series during the regular season. And like one of the games will be like the Orioles will pound the Yankees like 16-0, and then the next game it'll be the flip. It'll be the reverse. So it just depends on like
Pitching.
yeah. bad pitcher or whatever. Now, speaking of baseball, what do you think of the rule changes?
The pitch count?
Yeah. I don't mind the pitch clock.
Yeah. Sorry, the clock. You're right. I want to see it in place. Like,
So,
they've got it in spring training.
well, it's been in the minor leagues for a long time.
Yeah, it does speed up the game. I mean, they were showing game times, 2 hours, 30 minutes.
Yeah. But here's the thing. You wouldn't ask a bunch of people that don't watch baseball, what would make you watch baseball? And they answered it. And then those same people are going to continue watching Netflix. So why are we...
Aaron Judge came out. He said, it's just like NBA shot clock. So he was all right with it.
Yeah. What I don't like is that you can only throw to first base to pick off a runner once. Because at that point, they might as well take a lead halfway to second base.
Yeah.
You know, like, why don't you just give them second base?
So here's a question, though. You can only throw it to first base once. But there's nothing saying you can't throw it to second base in front of the runner.
Yeah. Well, then you might have more rundowns.
Well, because if the guy's going to lean, I mean, at least if you have the option to throw to second, you can stop him from going.
Yeah.
Whereas if you make their one throw to first and he knows you can't throw to first again, but you also can't throw to second either, being the pitcher.
Yeah.
I mean, that creates a completely unfair advantage, in my opinion, to the runner.
And there has to be something where if he's actually stealing the base, you have to be able to turn around and throw the ball.
Right.
Now, I do like the fact they got rid of the shift.
There's a part of me that doesn't, because
Okay.
I feel like a major league should be able to bunt.
Yeah.
A major league player should learn how to bunt.
I'm shocked that more professional baseball players didn't do that so that they wouldn't have the shift
It's
put up
wild.
all the time.
For years.
Think about it. And the one person, are you an Orioles fan?
Very much so.
Okay. Then the one person we're all thinking about is Chris Davis.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They put the shift on that dude, and I think it killed his career,
His psyche.
because it killed his ego. He couldn't figure out how to hit opposite way. Now, look, you're going against a professional baseball pitcher. He's going to pitch you inside so that you hit into the shift. It's incredibly difficult,
Very
to
difficult.
hit a ball the opposite way when you're getting basically stuffed on your hands.
Yep. Jammed.
But
Imagine if you just learned how to bunt right down the third baseline.
well, that's what I'm saying.
That's
the
If
thing.
you would have just bunted down the third baseline, because in that shift, the third baseman's got to play deep,
Yeah.
or at least halfway through the dirt. So if you can get it, it doesn't even be a perfect bunt. It just has to go away from the pitcher a little bit.
Yeah.
And even his slow ass would have made it to first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you do that through 3 or 4 games,
They're going to
the
stop.
shift's done.
Yeah.
You've broken the shift.
But no one did that for seasons.
Has anyone done it even since?
Never saw it.
Because if someone were to do it, you'd see it all over the sports highlights.
The last team that really played small ball was Kansas City.
You got to the World Series.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They beat
That way.
Baltimore. Mm-hmm. That was the
right.
year
Yeah.
it was when the AL East, and they were the last, and that's what killed Baltimore. Baltimore's just this big home run hitting team,
Yeah.
and they relied on pitching, base stealing, and bunting.
But you don't even have to do it for that many games. If you do it for 4 games,
Yeah,
just to show you're willing to do it, that shift goes away for the entire season.
yeah,
And then you have room to hit again.
yeah.
Like, why? I don't understand why
almost like
nobody thought of this.
It's like in football where
We geniuses?
It must be that hard.
To bunt?
Yeah, you're right.
Even
Yeah.
attempting to bunt.
Yeah,
would
you're
get
right.
him- I don't know.
Yeah. But it's like in football where, you keep running the ball, it opens up your passing game.
Yeah. Derrick Henry.
Yeah. The other team's now putting 8 men in the box, and then all of a sudden you just start launching the football. Like, it's the same. Bunting's like running the football up the guts. So,
I'm curious when they're going to have 3 of the outfielders all on the right side as a shift. So they can't do it in the infield, but are they just going to put left and center field all on the right side to still do a shift
So they've
for
talked
that
about that.
gap hit?
So essentially, you put one guy in. So let's say they're shifting to the right. So for a lefty, you're going to shift everybody to the right. From what I remember, though, it's not the infield. You have to have a certain number of players on the left and the
Okay.
right side of second base. Basically, an imaginary line is up the middle.
That's right.
But the
so
plan,
all the way to the center field wall.
I think so.
Okay.
So then the idea is you put your left fielder. I'm sorry. So you put your left fielder a little bit towards center. You put your center fielder on the other side of the line, and then you can bring your right fielder almost as that third infielder, but not put him in the infield. You make him like a second baseman playing real deep, right on the grass though. Mm-hmm. So now you've got your 3 infielders, but you're sacrificing your outfield a little bit. But again, your idea is that there's no way they're going to break this shift. So, because like we said, it's already going to be hard enough for them to get a blooper over, like where the shortstop normally would be, and drop it in left field, right? But again, though, if you got that third baseman playing back, because your shortstop's going to be almost playing on top of second base. So if you can drop it, like if you can drop a bunt, if that third baseman's playing back, you're going to break that shift.
So there'll still be more gaps than there used to be.
Should be.
Yeah.
But then it always came down to, at least with Chris Davis, like, well, they're not paying me to bunt.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, but they're not paying you to hit 180.
Just strike out 200 times a year.
God, it was so bad.
You know, the year they signed him to that huge contract, that was the same year the Nats signed Scherzer. So, like,
What could have been?
had they just invested in pitching, because that team was good. The starting pitching was terrible.
Yeah.
They were still, I mean, Ubaldo was a starter.
Right.
I got to the point where I put the O's game on, and if Ubaldo was on the mound, I just change it.
Yeah.
I'm like, this game's going to...
He wasn't on the playoff roster. It was so bad.
Yeah.
That was strange, though, because Ubaldo, I don't know if you remember, he came from Colorado.
Yeah, he had one good year in Colorado, and
He had a couple good years.
then we paid him a dump truck load full of money.
But here's the thing, though. If you had good stats in Colorado, they automatically assumed you'd have even better stats away from Colorado.
Yeah.
And for him, it just never panned out for whatever reason. But the
It's
other thing,
Angelo's curse.
the other thing with that roster was they gave the money to Chris Davis the year after Nelson Cruz was let go.
Oh, yeah. And he was great for the next 4 years.
Well, here's the thing, though. He wanted a 4-year contract, but he was like he's like 37.
Yeah.
He also had just come off his suspension.
Yeah, his PED suspension. Yeah, I remember that.
He went
So
to
they let him go. He ends up having a great 4 years.
big
home runs over
ballpark,
30.
Seattle. Yeah.
And I think in order to kind of make up for that, because they knew the fans were just pissed off about that, they signed Trumbo, who sucked, and they signed Chris Davis, who just, when they got him from Texas, he was a 220 hitter that hit 25, 30 home runs a year. That's what he was. He came, he had that one season where he hit 285 or 290, 45 home runs, 100 RBIs, and he got paid. He pulled a Joe Flacco.
Yeah.
He basically
At least Joe Flacco won a Super Bowl.
Right. Well, he took his one good season, got paid, and then never did it again. But right, he won a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
You're basically paying him for the Super Bowl that he already won.
Yeah.
And in this case, Chris Davis didn't win a World Series, and then he also decided not to play baseball again,
And he's the new,
even when he was in the lineup.
Yeah.
the new Bobby Bonilla right there.
And the weird thing is, like, I remember the announcers trying to
Are the
justify
Mets still
it.
paying him?
Yep.
Actually, I think that just ended.
Did it?
But the Orioles pay him until 2029. The Orioles gave him that kind of contract too. let's not think the Orioles didn't do dumb shit.
Oh, boy.
They were just as dumb.
Yeah.
They just paid him. I think he gets $500,000 every year from the Orioles.
Nothing.
That guy's agent was a genius. He gave him a retirement plan.
Yeah.
He did.
2 of them. From the Mets and the Orioles, for fuck's sake. Like, yeah. That man's a genius. I'm thinking like Jackie Stiles from Seinfeld. God damn, that man's a genius. Let's get him a contract.
They got the bigger bases, which means more stolen bases.
I haven't seen them, by the way.
I don't know how many more inches.
They can't,
But
the
enough
memes
to-
online are hilarious. But
Yeah. More stats. That's what they're hoping for.
Yeah, I get it. They want to improve. They want to make it more about running, and which it's almost like if you watch like women like college softball, like those games are there because like you see a ball hit in softball. I'm talking NCAA Division I level softball. That if a similar ball is hit in MLB, it's an automatic out. Like a grounder to third base, it's an out.
Yeah.
Like the third basemen are so strong, they're going to fire that ball over to first. Yep. No one's going to be able to run the 90 feet. But in softball, it's 60 feet. So those girls, and some of them are super fast, they'll beat the throw, even if it's a perfect throw. Mm-hmm. So I get the fact they're trying to, which makes it exciting.
Bursts of action.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but the older I get, the more I appreciate baseball. So I don't need you to turn it into basketball or football.
Yeah.
Like, I don't, like, let it be what it is. And maybe I'm having a get off my lawn moment. But
Well, I mean, whatever happened, they changed what they wanted in players, right? You wanted the home run guy. You came up with this whole thing.
Chicks dig the long ball.
A home run's better than a walk. Whereas, I mean, Billy Beane kind of came up with the new method of finding a baseball player. Whereas he like whatever equation he had, it was this is better than this. So like a home run's better than a single or a walk. Mm-hmm. So the whole
on base percentage is better than batting average.
Right.
Yeah.
But right, because it doesn't matter if you get a single or a walk, you're still on first base.
Yep.
But a home run's better than a single. So then they prioritized home run hitters. When they taught hitting in the minor leagues, it was all about hitting home runs. But you also got rid of that Ricky Henderson type player that would steal 80 something bases a year, 100. Mm-hmm. I mean, I remember like Vince Coleman stealing 110, 120 a year. I mean, the 80s were magical for runners in baseball. They basically algorithm them out of the game. Mm-hmm. I mean, now you don't see a guy with more than like 30 stolen bases in a year, maybe 40.
Is it a thing where like analytics and nerd baseball have kind of ruined it, like analytics and nerd football?
It's not. Yeah, like it's not worth the risk to steal second base and create an out versus letting the guy that's up at bat hit a home run and get 2 runs.
Yeah.
Everything is based around the home run.
Yeah. Percentages. Yep.
Like if you try and steal second and you get thrown out and the guy hits a home run, after that, you got 1 run instead of 2.
Yeah.
It's not like in their mind, it's not worth the risk to steal second in case you get thrown out. It's ruined the game, in my opinion, though.
It'll be interesting to see what the larger bases do for that.
Yeah, I mean, the stolen base is one of the most exciting plays in baseball, in my opinion.
Yeah, how many plays are bang bang when it comes to the stolen base?
Well, and I also like making the ballparks bigger because now you bring back triples,
more gaps.
You bring back an inside the park home run or 2. Mm-hmm. That's those are exciting plays in baseball. Yeah. Like that's what gets people to go to a game versus just watching it on TV. Yeah. Right.
Everybody's got the envision of Bryce Harper running his ass off to third and sliding, and his helmet comes off, and bang bang, and he gets a triple. Yeah.
It's that old Pete Rose mentality.
Yeah, exact same thing.
Like Charlie Hustle.
You got it.
He's rounding second. The helmet's flying off.
Yeah.
The hair's flowing in the wind. Yeah. That's the Bryce Harper thing.
Yeah, the relay play coming in. Yeah.
Yeah, it's exciting. And when you're in the stadium for that, nothing replaces that. When we were talking about this with like football. Football at home on your couch on TV is 10 times better than going to a stadium.
Hell yeah,
it is.
But if
cheaper too.
But if I'm going to see
comfier.
If I'm going to see a baseball game though, and baseball is still a relatively cheap event to take.
Sure.
Yeah.
You can still get tickets to the O's for $8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, if you want to go in the upper. I mean, shoot, I think even like some decent seats are $20 a piece.
And it's a great view up there.
Yeah. Well, but if you can add back in that element of exciting plays, I think you get some people back to the ballpark. Mm. I mean, the Orioles especially. Why they don't do some things to get people back in the ballpark? One, lower the damn concession costs. Mm-hmm. You're not going to get a family of 4 there, especially when the game starts at 6:35. It's starting at dinner time for crying out loud for most people.
Yeah.
Especially in this area because you don't get home from work until 6:30.
Yeah.
Yeah, and the thing is, if I wanted to take, say the 5 of us want to go to a baseball game, 6:35 start. If we're only, say I get to $20 seats, right? So now I'm $100 in the hole just walking in. Mm-hmm. By the time I feed those little kids, I'm not getting out of there for less than $300.
Yeah,
that's an expensive day.
You need 2 hot dogs apiece.
Yeah.
A pretzel probably.
Yeah.
And ice cream.
Cotton candy for one, for then all 4.
Right.
Yeah.
Because that's the experience.
Yeah.
But after one game, you're $350 in, plus 20 for parking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not to mention, some people think you take your life into your hands going into Baltimore City to see them.
That doesn't help.
Yeah.
But you figure the cost alone for a family of 5 or a family of 4 for one game.
Yeah.
It's like, wait a minute, hold up.
Yeah.
And a lot of that cost is the concessions. It's not the ticket. But if you're going in $100 deep just on tickets for decent seats, you don't want to be spending another $200 on food. Like, bring back dollar hot dogs for crying out loud.
Yeah.
A hot dog doesn't cost you that much money. Now look, the beers, fuck them. That's fine. Charge your $6 to $7 or $8 to $9.
The moneymaker. Yeah.
It's a frivolous. I mean, look, it's a frivolous cost.
Yeah.
You don't need to drink beer when you go to the game. In fact, you probably don't want too many people doing it. But it makes a lot of money. People do.
I hang out at Pickles or Sliders and get bombed.
That's right. That's the way to do it.
But make the food, because the kids want to eat food.
Yeah.
The kids want the experience. They want the sundae in the helmet.
It's in the song.
Yeah.
Buy me some peanuts and Cracker Jack.
That's right.
You know, that's.
And as a dad with 2 boys, when you go, you want to you want to get a pack of peanuts.
Yeah.
And you want to crack shells and put them on the ground with your boys.
Yeah.
That you got to teach them.
That's
That's how you learn.
Right.
You don't learn in your backyard. No one wants to clean that up.
Peanuts don't even taste the same outside the ballpark.
Right.
They get that salt content just right.
But then we were talking about we go to Bay Sox games right down the road.
That's a good kid experience.
You're talking $9 a ticket.
Parking's free.
Parking is 100% free.
And
which
you
is
park right there.
Yeah. You're not walking a mile.
Fireworks on Friday.
Yeah.
Yep.
They run the bases.
Kids run the bases. The players talk to the kids.
Yeah.
Like, they're right there in the stadium.
Yeah, that's great.
They're right there on the field. My problem with the Bay Sox stadium is the concessions again.
They're expensive.
They are, for a minor league stadium. Yes,
They're charging major league concession prices.
I couldn't believe it last time we went. I could not believe it. Like, a hot dog was like, what, $7?
So I spend less money going to a Capitals game than I do going to a Bay Sox.
Wow.
And the cheapest seat for a Caps game is like $64. But when I go to a Caps game, I'm that nerd that shows up. I watch warm-ups. I don't drink beer at a Cap. Like, when I go, so they used to have a deal. It was large popcorn and a large Coke, and it was like movie theater prices, like stadium prices, but it was free refills.
That's good.
So I would just crush popcorn because I love popcorn and drink Coke and watch the Caps play. That's I wasn't getting up. I wasn't getting beer. I wasn't getting to pee and all this. It was nope. I'm watching the game. And I spend less money for myself to go there than I would. So,
well, here's my thing with the Bay Sox. By the way, for anyone who doesn't know, that's the Orioles AA affiliate, and they're not that far from Baltimore, so a lot of Orioles fans can get there. And it's based between Annapolis, DC, PG County. It's in PG County.
it's convenient to everywhere.
Yeah, it's very convenient. It's right off of 50. I mean, you couldn't make this any easier for people to get to. But when we've gone to games, what percentage of the stadium do you think was filled?
Maybe on a good day, 20.
Yeah.
I was going to say even low. I was going to say 10.
Yeah.
And we've been a couple times. You have zero cost with the entry tickets. So when someone buys a ticket to the game, it's pure profit. I mean, you obviously have sunk costs, right? But make your money there. Stop trying to make all of your money on concessions. I get it. Concessions make money, right? But again, make it on the beer. Don't make it on the... I mean, you can make it on food, too. A hot dog maybe costs them $1.50. Charge $3 instead of $7. You can still triple your money on it. But the difference is, if someone goes to a minor league game and I don't have to drop $100 for a family of 4, what are the chances I'm going to go more than once? A lot, right? Because it's 20 minutes from the house. I can get there and not have to leave work early.
Yeah.
And go during the week and not get home midnight.
11, yeah.
Yeah. And oh, by the way, I can feed my family of 4 for $60, which is what it would cost me at a restaurant anyway.
It's a good summer night.
Right.
Yeah.
And I get fireworks, and maybe my kids get to run the bases.
Yeah.
Maybe you get more than 10% of your stadium filled if you did this shit.
Yeah.
And the thing with the minor leagues, the minor league team does not pay the players' salaries.
Right.
Or the coaching staff or anything. The big league club pays for all that. The minor league stadium, like the owner of the team, pays like concessions, all that grooming. They pay for all that stuff. But the players' salary, the cost of the actual baseball, is covered by the major league team.
Right. They got to pay for the lease of the stadium and the support staff and grounds crew.
Yeah.
That's not much cost you're trying to cover.
Right.
You can cover that with ticket prices. And then all your again, the more people you get in, the more food you're going to sell.
That's interesting.
Yeah.
Nobody's figured that formula out though, because every time we go there, the food, like every time we've gone, I keep saying, "Wow, I can't believe the food costs so much."
Yeah.
I can't believe a beer is $16.
Yeah.
Now, granted, it's like a bigger beer, but it's like, God, this is you're paying major league prices at a minor league park. No, come on now. Yeah. Like whoever's running that team should fire the entire staff.
I think they're all pretty much the same, though.
Are they though? I don't know. I mean, I've never been up to Frederick. I don't know what the Frederick Keys.
Well, now they've reorganized it, so Frederick's not even there.
They're not the single A affiliate anymore.
They got the Shorebirds down in
So-
Salisbury.
Yeah, so now Frederick is like a summer Premier League or something like that.
Okay.
So it's almost like a step above the Cape League.
Okay.
But yeah, so there's the shore. There's
Single A.
yeah.
Delmarva
and then
Shorebirds is A. Aberdeen is high A.
Aberdeen's low A.
Oh, low A.
Aberdeen's
Okay.
rookie.
Delmarva's high A then.
Yeah,
Okay. And then Norfolk's Triple A.
yeah,
Yeah.
I would love to see the prices at Norfolk, or even Delmarva,
yeah,
just to compare. Like, are they just trying to take advantage because they got the Bay Sox in a high traffic area?
yeah.
Not that it matters. I mean, not that that seems to matter though, because they're not getting attendance. Like I don't see. Like, for me, it's like you're basically killing a fan base if you're going to put a AA team within 20 miles of the team, but make it cost prohibitive.
Yeah.
Why is anyone going to go to that?
If concessions cost the same at Camden Yards and ticket prices, the only benefit you're looking at is
Parking,
Convenience.
right? Convenience is a large part of it.
Yeah.
yeah. No, it is easier to go because you park and you walk in. It's not.
It's not a long walk.
The only time it's really
Yeah.
packed there is when like they do the Naval Academy night and they bring all the midshipmen there.
David Bowie night's pretty fun too.
Yeah. And there's also like Star Wars night.
Yeah.
So
Like they've got the promotions down, but you got to get people in.
yeah.
That place, there's no reason that place shouldn't be packed. With how many people live around that stadium, like within a 20-minute distance driving.
Yeah.
I mean, shoot, man. I mean, we might be 25 minutes at most.
Yeah. It doesn't take long to get there at all.
It drives me nuts. But nice little segue from sports, though. So we're coming up on spring sports season, which is our favorite season.
Yeah.
Not for the sports and the kids, but because we get to see all the crazy sports parents come back out. It's their season to shine.
Yeah.
They're going to bring all the crazy back out for everybody to see. And personally, I'm here for it. I can't wait to see it, just because the last couple years I feel like people have gotten crazier because of all the political stuff that's going on.
Yeah.
And they're just they're bringing all their crazy from online and they're bringing it to the sports field, and we get to see it all on display.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think. Last year was pretty tame for well, my littlest one is playing t-ball, so that's just. I mean,
Hard to be angry at that.
yeah. So, yeah, I haven't had too much problems with the older kids, but I want to see what goes on because my oldest is moving up to 12U now, so I want to see what goes on there. So
We've been fortunate. We haven't had too many crazy parents. Now, there are some, but they're low-key crazy. Like, they're not putting it out there, like, yelling and screaming. they're kind of doing the muttering under their breath a little bit. Like they're trying to keep it tame. We tend to have the parents, like we have a lot of don't give a shit parents. Like they look at the team as like a babysitter for their kid.
Mm-hmm.
Like they'll go to practice. They go to every practice and they sit there in the bleachers and they're looking at their phone the entire time. Meanwhile, you got some parents that will get off their ass and be like, how can I help?
Yeah.
Like we got one guy, you know Nick.
Mm-hmm.
I think Nick listens. If you're there, Nick, what's up? So Nick likes to be. He's like, I'm here. I'm gonna do some shit. Like, where do you need me? Like, he's not a head coach. He's not an assistant coach. It basically, if the team needs him to pitch a couple innings to get the girls some batting practice, he's pitching.
Yeah.
Brings the glove, does what he. Or when he wasn't there, like one year, he was like, oh, here's this softball pitching machine, and up in Glen Bernier.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to go buy it. And then the next practice, he comes with the pitching machine, brings his generator, and we're literally running this thing on a generator and on the other open field. So we got 2 fields going now.
That's good.
We got the 3 or 4, one head coach, 3 assistant coaches. And we got like 4 more parents doing some stuff. And then you got like the 3 or 4 more parents that are just sitting on their ass. Like, don't you see what's going on around you? Don't you feel like an ass? Don't you feel you're the guy who's not even who can't even get off your ass and do something with your kid, with your daughter, because it's softball. That's I'm just like, or if there's like a day when like 2 or 3 parents aren't there to help, they still won't do it. Or like I remember during T-ball, it was like there was 2 of us. We needed a third base coach. So I'm over at first base. The other guy's up there with the hitters, putting the ball in the tee and everything. So we need someone at third base. And we're like, hey, can I? And you get 1 or 2 parents. Oh, sure, I'll do it. And everyone else is looking around like waiting for someone. Like you can't coach third base.
Yeah.
For 6U softball.
Yeah, you can't say run to me.
There's no coaching.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
Keep running. Yeah. Run to third.
Right here.
And then go home.
Yeah.
Go home. That's all it is.
That's all it is.
There's like you don't got to steal signals. You're not signaling to first base with the signs going on. You don't got to do any of that. It's just like I'm like, but when like my oldest, she's playing 10U. And they're like the same parents will just sit there and be on their phones during the practice. It's like you just got out of work. You were on your phone all day at work or on a computer, whatever. Like even like me, I ask if I'm needed. If I'm not needed, I just stand. I'll talk to some of the other parents. I'll do whatever.
Shoot the shit.
But I'm not on my phone.
So I always bring my glove if I'm going to one of the kids' practice, and I hang out. And if I'm needed. Great. Now, there are some dads that have to be out on the field. My thing is, if the coach needs me, he'll say, hey, Mike, can you run? So, like, my oldest, his coach likes to do, like, a clinic-style practice. So they're moving around to different stations, which is great because it keeps it moving. It keeps them engaged.
Yep.
Structure.
Yeah. So he'll say, hey, can you run hitting? Yeah, I got you. And I'll go out and I'll run, whether I'm, because I have heavy balls. He's like, hey, did you bring your heavy balls? Oh, they're in the trunk. So, because right now the contents of my trunk becomes camping chairs and baseball stuff.
Yep.
Like, I'm sure there's something in there.
I got bats clinging around on my trunk right now.
If it doesn't need me, I hang out. I mean, there was games for fall ball where, like, I'm running the bench or I'm first base coach. And I'm standing there with the kid on first. He's like, what's the signal for Coach Mike? What's the signal for steal? I'm like, I don't know. Go. Let's go.
Maybe a swipe.
Like, what? We come back and the third base goes like, why would you guys steal? Like, oh, we both forgot the signal. But
you signal over to the third base. Go, that's my bad, dude. I forgot what it was.
Yeah. Or I keep score. Like, you need me to keep score. Or I'll do nothing. Like, whatever they need. Because I've coached these teams before. And I know it takes a lot of effort. Especially with the younger. The older they get, it's a little bit easier. It then becomes like order maintenance. Like, making sure they're not screwing around too much and they're not climbing on. But the little kids, it's like, okay, where's your hat? Where's your glove? You're like getting them dressed because they lose everything. But the older kids, like, if you don't need me to do anything, I won't do anything. I'm not going to push my way on the field.
Yeah.
If you need me for something, you want me to go out there and hit fungos, you want me to shag balls, whatever you need, I'm going to help you with. Because I've been there, I've done it, and I've been a coach with.
It's fun.
Yeah, with parents. I'm coaching t-ball this year for my youngest, and I tell the parents like the first day, I'm like, if you have a glove, bring it. I will draft you. Like it's going to happen. So if you're here, what if we don't know anything about baseball? Well, that makes two of us because I don't know anything
figure
about
it out.
Yeah. So,
I feel like the key is to set it early, though. Like, especially if you're the coach on like the t-ball teams or like the next level up, you almost need to condition the parents that they're going to need to come out and help.
Yeah,
and that kind of just carries through. You notice which teams have done it and which teams have not.
Yeah.
Like on my daughter's older team, it's literally 7-8 parents out there helping. Now I remember one time the coach asked me to like hit fly balls to the outfielders. I looked her dead in the face. I said, I can't do that. And she said, well, why not? I said, because I'll never make contact and get the ball to the outfield.
Yeah.
Because she wanted me to go to the outfield and hit the balls.
Yeah.
And I was like, I do not have the coordination to do that.
Yeah.
It's like, is there anything else I can do?
Yeah.
I will do anything. I'll take someone over for the tee. I'll do hitting on the tee. And like during the games, I'll keep score. I love keeping score.
Yeah, me too.
I'm a big fan of it.
Yeah.
It's like, you're asking me to do something I physically can't do because I don't have. I used to be able to, but now it's just awful looking.
So I always
look like a stupid ass, like trying to swing this shit.
This ain't golf.
Yeah, like I'm trying to hit the ball in the air. I'm hitting ground balls to the outfield.
You should just bring your lacrosse stick and chuck it up.
There you go.
Honestly, my lacrosse thing has been in the garage for like the last 6 years. The webbing and the net,
It's probably just dry rotted.
It's so dry rotted, dude. Like I seriously think if I try to throw a lacrosse ball right now, I think I would probably I would probably tear both labrums, and my back would be thrown out.
So I usually, for fly balls, I usually just end up throwing them.
Yeah.
But the awesome
At
thing
that
is,
age too.
I throw my arm out.
Right, that's what that would happen to me too. Yeah.
Because then it becomes
Not within my physical capability.
because we all still, our minds don't mature much past 12 years old, and we still think that we're 22 physically.
Yeah.
So then there's some young kid like it's Logan started playing 12U for fall, and he went from being one of the older kids in 10U to now he's one of the younger kids. So their kids are like pretty big and they're strong, and like then I'm like trying to like out throw them.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you think you throw hard? Okay, I'm gonna break your hand.
and then you break your shoulder.
And I break my body. I start throwing gas at him. Like, what are you doing, you fool? Like, this is where women are smarter than men.
Yeah.
Because, like, they're...
Oh, wait,
like,
no. Trust me on this.
Was your wife throwing gas at these girls? Or?
So, because we had that pitching machine, the lady coaches of the team thought that they were going to get up in there and take some batting practice of their own. So my wife did it, and the next day she was like, "Oh, I shouldn't have done that. I'm in so much pain." She was sore for like 3 days afterwards. I was like, "That's what you get for thinking you're young."
Before this, I was an athletic trainer.
Oh, wow.
So I was doing athletic training at Salisbury, and I worked with the baseball team. And I was 18, 19, learning to be a certified athletic trainer. But, working with the Tommy John's guys and then just throwing all day. I was doing 2-a-day baseball team. Oh, I might as well throw the whole time, Couldn't do that today.
Yeah.
Everything will hurt.
Yeah, rubber arm
awful.
back then.
Yeah.
We have crept up on almost an hour in this show. Wow. And we have not done weight loss
No,
updating.
we haven't. I'm sure the crowd is on the edge of their chairs.
I'm sure they are. Should we do a quick update now or just save it for next week?
I think give him a cliffhanger. Give him a little something.
All right.
Give him a little something.
Yeah.
So I forgot where we left off. Did we tell everyone about the dietary changes I believe we kind of did.
Yeah.
Or at least I did.
Yeah, and then I joined up with you.
Yes, but I don't think they know that yet.
Right. So Alex is using the Carb Manager app. So I'm pretty much like he's paying the doctor, and I'm just coming along like a pilot fish,
The beta,
getting the scraps. So I was like, I'm gonna do the same thing. So I went and set it up for my goals, and I guess we set it up for similar goals. So it put me at 42 carbs a day. Except when I look at that, I make it a game, and my game is 0. And I've been doing pretty good at hitting 0. And I think, in fact, at one point last week, I was actually in ketosis because I had no sugar, no carbs at all. The cool thing about it that I've noticed is since I'm not eating sugar and starchy foods, I don't crave them. And I'm not hungry. Like I'm not, a lot of people, I'm on a diet, I'm starving, I'm miserable. No, I'm not. And I've been eating stuff like pork rinds, sardines for a snack, like protein, like, cheese sticks. I'm bringing a lot of things like chili and stuff like that to work that are, just high protein foods and just feeling good. Like not feeling tired or hungry. So it's a cool thing. Like I'm glad I'm doing it. So
yeah, I'm with you on the not craving the sugar. That being said, there's been a couple of days where I've been like, ooh, sugar.
yeah.
So like I'd say in the past 2.5, 3 weeks, I've had 2 days where I ate over the carb limit. Not really cheat days, but cheat-ish days. Like one day we went to a Chinese restaurant. Like we actually went to a Chinese. It wasn't takeout. We went to a Chinese restaurant, and we got sushi. I'm a big sushi fan.
Yeah, me too.
And rice has got carbs out the wazoo.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? There's probably not many calories in this meal because it's fish.
lean.
I mean, fish has so little calories to it. So basically it was rice and seaweed and fish. And of course the sauces and whatnot. But anyway, so I ate some sushi. I think I had an egg roll and like some rice noodles and then I did like broccoli and beef and broccoli or something. So there's no carbs in that.
So
but the rice noodles had some carbs. But I only had a little bit of it. But that was like my cheat day for carbs. And then I had another one where I had the Australian licorice things. Had a few too many, but that I think that kind of did me in more. Like I did not feel good the next day.
Yeah.
All the sugar.
Like it was the sugar, but it was like what it did to my digestive system. It wasn't that it made me like sugar high or anything. The nausea I had the day after. Now, I also don't know if some of the nausea. I've heard like keto flu. There is nausea and vomiting associated with that. Like I heard it sucks. And I've been a little bit like that was probably last week that it happened, but then like my nausea's kind of come back again this week.
Yeah, I haven't had any nausea issues. Now, President's Day, my wife took the kids to the doctor and then came back and brought bagels back. And she bought me 2 salt bagels. She wasn't even thinking. She just thought she was being nice. And I was like, oh. She's like, oh, I'm sorry. I should have done that. So I'm looking at them. No one's going to eat a salt bagel. I love a salt bagel. So I'm looking at this thing. So I'm like, you know what? Screw it. I'm going to eat one. Which then turned into 2. And blew my carbs out the window for the day. So, well, maybe I'll make today a cheat day. So then for lunch, we ended up going to Red Hot and Blue.
That's the perfect place not to cheat.
Yeah.
It's all meat.
Yeah. Except
good.
the sides.
Oh, yeah. That's true.
But I did, with
Potato
my
salad.
entree, I did good. I got the rib combo, I got the dry rub. So I got chicken wings with the dry rub and ribs with the dry rub. Now, the sides were a disaster. And then for dinner, I had 4 slices of pizza, which was about what I'd eat anyway. Like I didn't crush a whole pie, which I can easily do. But the calorie intake, that's what I would have eaten and thought, oh, I didn't eat that much today. 4,000 calories.
Yeah.
And all that. So the cool thing about this, even if you're not staying with just the fact that you're conscious of what you're eating, it really makes you mindful of what you're putting in your body. So with this, I did, like, some might say, oh, your calories are too low. Like, they're giving me 3,300 a day. I'm having trouble. I can't hit anywhere near it.
I've had the same problem.
And I'm hitting, but then the thing is, like, it's discounting for workouts and activity because it's connected to my watch.
Right.
So before I ate dinner, my net calorie intake was 74 for the day. But I didn't feel hungry. So I'm like, if I'm not hungry, why am I going to go and force myself to eat? I'm never hitting the fat or protein. Sometimes I hit the protein macro because I'm eating a lot of ground beef.
I hit fat once in a while because of the fatty meat.
Yeah.
But I've never hit the protein. But I kind of, so I've taken the mentality of there's two metrics I'm using. The carbs because of the insulin issues. Mm-hmm. And the calories because you need a calorie deficit.
Yeah.
I will say that. So I've been given the allotment of 2,400 calories a day.
Okay.
I want to say the last week I've averaged 15.
Yeah.
And I'm not hungry though. Like, I'm literally having trouble eating the calories, which I guess is good. I mean, it's more of a calorie deficit. It's not starvation mode. I mean, you're not under 1,000.
No.
Right. But mine's that 1,500 though. That's without exercise. So I'm not getting an exercise bonus out of this. And the other thing with the carbs, the cheat days, so far the good part is one day hasn't turned into two.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's...
One day has been one day.
Yeah.
All right. Now I might have another one 2 weeks from that, but it's not 2 days in a row, 3 days in a row.
Right.
It's not okay, well, fuck this, I'm done.
Yeah, so we had a management retreat at work earlier this week, and they provided boxed lunches, one of which was Firehouse subs. So I ate it, blew the carbs out the window. Mm-hmm. But for the rest of the day, I was good.
Yeah.
And then for the foods I love, like French fries and all that stuff, we went to the diner for dinner. I got an omelet, and instead of getting home fries for the sides, I got cottage cheese.
Yeah.
And that worked out really well. And the fries, I wanted to eat them, but the thing is, and mentally, and Luke, you might be able to jump in on this. Maybe I'm completely off base, but mentally for me was, I didn't tell myself you can't have French fries. I just chose not to eat French fries.
You don't want them anymore.
Yeah, it's
like, you don't want to fuck up what you got going.
And it's this game thing that I got going on with myself where when I see, because Carb Manager is really cool because it puts everything out, these graphs and charts, and like when I see like zeros or like really tiny little bits of carbs for the day, I'm like, oh, I want to keep that streak going. Mm-hmm. So it's like I'm playing this game like an internal challenge, and then just telling myself that rather than restricting myself, like you can't eat French fries because you're a fatty, it's no, you can eat French fries whenever you want. I'm just choosing not to eat French fries today.
Kind of like the acceptance of it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's definitely a different mindset now. But I also think it helps that we've both seen results from it.
Yeah.
And we're like, where in the past we were doing things with the restrictive diets and whatnot, and it wasn't working. Mm-hmm. Right? So we're like, okay, well, why are we doing this? Or maybe it would work for a little bit and then you'd plateau.
Yeah.
For a really long time. Like it was just done. Like your body was done. Mm-hmm. And you're like, okay, well, I guess this isn't going to work either. I'm going to move on. Well, this level of carbs that my doctor's got me on and you're on, I mean, it's worked. I mean, we're talking almost 12 to 15 pounds in 3 weeks.
Yeah.
After we got the carbs right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you're talking it was about 8 pounds. Yeah, 8 pounds before. So it was like an initial 5, gained some weight back, whatever it was. But it's been about, I think, 14 pounds since we went down to the 40 carbs. And the protein hasn't mattered. The fat hasn't mattered. I made sure to stay under the 2,400 calories. Now, most days I get to 15 and that's it. But there's some days I get to 700 and that's it.
Yeah. Some days, like, if I don't include the exercise portion, I'll be around 2,000.
But you have an allotment of what?
3,300.
Okay, then.
So
you're still at a deficit.
Yeah.
So you guys have been doing this for a while. How do you feel and how's your mood with it?
So I think my mood has improved, especially once I got over So when you first deprive yourself of sugar, so sugar activates the same centers in the brain that heroin does.
Bingo.
And so when you quit sugar, like when I stop eating sugar, I actually feel hungover.
It's a withdrawal.
Yeah. I feel like crap. And I'm thinking to myself, man, I must have tied one on this, but I didn't drink anything last night. I just feel like garbage.
Yeah.
Once that wears off, I feel like my focus is better. My mood's improved. And there's actually another podcast I listened to where it was Huberman again.
I gotta check it out.
And he was talking to a psychiatrist that had his own mental health issues and went on the keto diet and resolved them. And then you had the guy had schizophrenic affective disorder.
Schizoaffective.
Yeah. So it was like, which I thought was like lesser grade, but it's actually like worse than regular. And he, when he was on keto, he was completely, like, not completely fine, but much, much better than he was. So
It's no joke.
Yeah.
Sugar's no joke. Yeah.
So with mine, it wasn't mental. Like, I don't feel like I got mentally clear. 'Cause, I think I'm awesome anyway. I was awesome before.
So not like a brain fog thing.
I don't think so. For me, where it's really helped, and this just could be because I'm eating less than I was before. I mean, I was probably a 3,000 to 4,000 calorie a day person, and now I'm down, 2,200 to max or 2,400 to max.
That's significant.
And it is, but and 2,400 is supposed to be I believe a 500 calorie deficit per day for me, based on all the maths that this app apparently does. Whether it's true or not, I don't know. But for me, where it's helped the most has been my digestive issues.
The GI distress.
Yeah. So I have IBS, which and it's generally, from what we understand, it's anxiety-induced IBS. Like, for example, I had a colonoscopy in my 20s. I was knocked out cold. So I was under anesthesia, and my under regions clamped down on the camera twice.
Good story.
So unconsciously, my body
You puckered up.
Yeah. Well, not that area. Like in there when the camera was deep in.
So like your internal sphincter.
The colon, whatever the colon is. So the colon portion.
Okay.
The part that regulates whether you're going to shit or not.
Yeah.
So we don't really understand. So we haven't figured out why it happened. So I've had GI issues going back into my 20s. But I seem to have less issues now. And I'm wondering if part of it was the way my body, I guess, digests carbs. Maybe you're just running through, or not, or maybe it just had a bad effect, created a bad what they call gut biome. I guess I have no idea.
Gut health.
Yeah, I don't know. Like this is not scientific. Again, This is not a scientific podcast. There is no factual information being given to you. But it's hard not to notice the correlation that's been going on, at least in the last month. Now, don't get me wrong, though. I've had a couple of days where, like, there's something's going on in there. It just has not felt great. But once I kind of, like, steadied out a little bit, it's been much better. Not going as much, not as irregular, I guess to say. Like, and I know people probably loving to hear about my bowel movements going on.
It's more about the sphincter. But
Sure, I'm sure whatever part of me that's doing this, I'm sure they're loving it. That seems to be the biggest difference right now. But on top of that, I mean, so for me, I've got a gut that kind of hangs down over the belt area.
It's called Dunlop's disease.
The Dunlap. Yep.
Sure, great, yeah, it's great, yeah, I gotcha.
It's a diagnosis.
Yeah. So you could usually tell when the fat cells felt full. It was very firm, right? Now you can kind of tell that the fat cells aren't as full, which I guess is like the first step to the fat cells liquidating and leaving through the gut system. Because if you the fat cells don't go away. They can easily be refilled. I don't know if that's making sense.
Yeah, like the adipose tissue, the memory for the adipose tissue.
Right.
Yeah.
So these fat cells that are being used, so like in my case, having as much insulin as I've had in my body, it caused me to store fat fairly easily. Well, if those fat cells can liquefy and go away, it has to create new fat cells in order to, and it's harder to do that. But you can tell that the fat cells don't feel as solid, which means the fat is leaving the fat cells, supposedly. So the internet told me, right? Now, I don't know whether it's true or not, but anyway, so that's a positive sign. Unfortunately, though, it looks probably worse than it did when it was firmer than it does now. So, but it's kind of like it gets worse before it gets better as far as the looks are concerned. But I guess my experience with this is that because it's working, I'm probably more apt to stick with it, even through a plateau. Because there's going to be one.
Sure.
Yeah, you're gonna hit a plateau.
There's got to be.
And once you get rid of you stop losing water weight, and you start moving more. You might see every week you might see less of a difference on the scale. But as long as it's trending in the right direction, and I give myself a couple of pounds either way. So if I'm, a pound over where I was the day before, I'm okay with that. As long as it's not and then the next week, as long as I know I'm doing the right thing, it's eventually going to come back. But I think the important thing is to also go by how you feel, not just the number on the scale. Because you could go and starve yourself to death, and you'll lose weight. You'll see results on the scale. You're going to be miserable and eventually die. But is that what you're doing it for the number on the scale or for body composition and how you feel? So
The number on the scale.
Okay.
I'm being honest with you because the number on the scale for me is probably, if the number goes down, that probably means my body composition is getting in a better place than it is right now. At least for now. If I get down to 250, then no, it's going to be a different. Now we're talking, it's a different ballgame at that point.
Yeah.
Right now, I need to lose weight.
And if your bowels are better and you have more energy, great.
Right. Well, the energy part has not gotten better, in my opinion. And that's something else I got to talk to the doctor about. But one other thing that he brought up was a drug called metformin.
It's a very popular thing with actors and actresses. No, that's not.
No, you're thinking of semaglutide.
That's what I'm thinking.
Semaglutide is the one I took, and I had a horrible reaction to it.
Okay.
But metformin is a diabetic drug.
Yeah, that's right.
But it does something else. It doesn't. It's not meant
a secondary benefit. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't do what those do. But it has to do with something with insulin and how much it stores fat.
Gotcha.
I think it actually helps you reduce the amount of insulin you produce, which for me right now, my body produces way more insulin than it should. And so even at rest, so my fasting insulin was double the high range.
Wow.
And then when I did the glucose fasting, the insulin did its job. It brought the glucose back into range. So, and at the third hour blood draw, my glucose was back in normal range. My insulin was triple what it should have been. The insulin wasn't coming back down to normal with the glucose, which it should. Now that could also indicate that I have other pancreas issues going on, but we're gonna find that out with a poop test at some point.
It should be fun.
A lot of stuff going on with my poop.
Your sphincter.
Yeah, a lot of stuff. So we're gonna test the poop and see what's in there, which should be great. Good times.
Yeah.
But on that note, we want to thank Cheers and Spirits for sponsoring this episode. I apologize to Cheers and Spirits for basically plugging them into probably the worst parts of this podcast. But thank you for sponsoring this episode. Their spirits and beers over there will not probably cause you any bowel problems whatsoever. So you should feel free to go over there. We just tried the Basil Hayden toast, which we got from Cheers and Spirits. Different kind of whiskey for both of us. We don't dislike it. I mean, I came into this thinking I was going to not like it again because the first time I had it, didn't like it so much. We're both kind of on board with it a little bit, but it's different from the others. It's a lot different.
I like it. I mean, I don't want to run out and buy it as much as I would run out and buy regular Basil Hayden. But
Yeah, it's just, I guess if we were going to be those snooty people that were reviewing it, I'd say it's got that dry kind of flavor to, or the dry taste to it, where it doesn't stay on your tongue.
Yeah,
it doesn't give you that second taste while it sits there. It kind of gets in there, you get a taste of it, and it's gone. So again, Cheers and Spirits in the Arnold Station Plaza over in Arnold, Maryland. Thank you again for sponsoring this episode. And yeah, maybe if anyone else is getting on this low carb diet with us, I refuse to call it keto. I'm not gonna. I don't know why.
you don't want to give it a name.
I don't want to conform. But please like, subscribe, comment, share to this podcast. Next week we will announce the winner of our $25 Amazon gift card giveaway, and we will see you next time.